Hi, hello. As y'all know, I love to meal prep, but some weeks it just doesn't work with my busy schedule. Rather than do nothing at all, I'll carve out just 30 minutes to do what I call a mini meal prep. I focus on making just a couple of condiments and flavor boosters. And it might not sound that impactful right now, but trust me, it makes such a big difference and it really allows me to take simple ingredients and turn them into truly delicious weeknight meals. So in today's video, I'll be sharing 3 recipes that are perfect for this kind of mini meal prep, and I'll walk you through how I use them to make interesting meals throughout the week. The first thing we're gonna make is a spicy mint cilantro sauce. And it's so easy, everything is gonna go in the food processor. Start by measuring out equal parts of fresh mint and cilantro. About a cup of each should do it. It smells so good. And roughly chop 2 garlic cloves, because if you leave them whole, you might end up with big chunks of garlic in your sauce. By the way, this green sauce is inspired by the Yemeni sauce zhug, but with kind of my own twists and shortcuts. One of those shortcuts is using pickled jalapenos instead of fresh green chilies, which is traditional in zhug. These are gonna add a moderate heat without making the sauce overwhelmingly spicy. Plus, we'll use some of the brine to add a quick punch of saltiness and tanginess to our sauce. And of course, we need some spices. We've got ground cumin, coriander, and cardamom, and a tiny bit of sugar just to balance out the spiciness and acidity. Once we have a coarse puree, we're gonna go ahead and add in our good quality extra virgin olive oil. Give it a nice mix to emulsify the oil, give it a taste. Oh, it's so good. And I haven't mentioned this, but this recipe is from my new cookbook, Big Vegan Flavor, and it comes out on September 3rd, so I'm just giving you a little sneak peek before then. And there's actually an entire chapter of over 50 high-impact condiments and flavor boosters like this one that are gonna make your weeknight dinners easy and delicious and stress-free. The next item I'm preparing is what I call Lemony Crunch. It's a crunchy topper that adds texture and flavor to salads, grain bowls, and whatever else you can think of. You're gonna get some olive oil in a large frying pan over medium heat and add on a half cup of pepitas. After 2 to 3 minutes, they'll start to turn golden brown, which is your signal to add the next ingredient, panko. These are Japanese breadcrumbs that are much flakier and lighter than traditional breadcrumbs and just so much better in general, and a pinch of salt. And now for some final seasonings. I've got a heaping 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, same amount of oregano and red pepper flakes, plus the zest of 1 small lemon, which is what makes this lemony crunch. Smells really lovely and lemony. Once the panko turns beautifully golden brown, add it to a parchment paper lined plate or baking sheet to cool off, and then hit it with some flaky sea salt. You can then turn the parchment paper into a funnel to easily get the lemon crunch into a jar without making a big mess. Just a little mess. Add another cute little label because food that's been labeled just tastes better. It's science. All right, so we have an herby, spicy sauce. We've got a crunchy condiment. Now it's time for something creamy so that we have a lot of variety in our condiments. And we're gonna be making a creamy dill caper yogurt sauce. Start by measuring out your yogurt, and you want a tangy, neutral flavored yogurt for this. I like these particular brands. If the yogurt is sweet or flavored, it's just not gonna work here. To that, we'll add some vegan mayo to bring a bit of richness, but if you're not into mayo, you could just use more yogurt. Now for our flavoring agents. First, a handful of chopped fresh dill, 2 tablespoons of capers, and for a more even distribution, give them a smash with the back of your knife and then a good chop. Oh, and we'll also add 1 teaspoon of that caper brine to get a nice salty, tangy bite. 2 garlic cloves, we'll just grate them right in there, and a couple tablespoons of fresh lemon juice. Let's give it a taste. Very delicious. And that is it. Our mini meal prep is done. It took less than 30 minutes, and I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but I already know it's gonna make my meals during the week so much better, and I'm already excited to start cooking tomorrow. Okay, so for dinner today, I've decided to make a spiced tofu rice bowl. This sounds a little basic, but I promise with those condiments we made earlier, it's gonna be really delicious. I'm starting with the brown rice, since that's the element that takes the longest to cook. You can cook it however you want, but it is easiest if you use an Instant Pot or rice cooker, since it is totally hands-off. While the rice is going, we'll work on removing some of the moisture from the tofu. It's totally fine to just wrap the tofu in a towel and press it under a heavy book, but in my testing, I have found that I get the best fried tofu by tearing it into chunks and then soaking the chunks in a hot bath of salty water. So you want 2 cups of boiling water and a tablespoon of diamond crystal kosher salt, and then carefully plop in your tofu. I'm gonna let the tofu soak for 10 minutes, and in the meantime, we'll get started on our vegetable. I've got a beautiful purple cabbage today, and I'm gonna use that to make a very quick slaw to mix in with our rice. A box grater works well here, but you could also use a food processor shredding disc or a mandolin, or just slice the cabbage very thinly with a knife. A little bit of lemon juice and a bit of salt. Gonna add a nice nutty crunch with some roasted sesame seeds, some pep. For a touch of sweetness, because red cabbage can be a tiny bit bitter, a little agave. You could use maple syrup too. All right, it's time to dry our tofu. Try to be gentle here. Don't smash the tofu. To flavor our tofu, I'm using one of my favorite spice blends, Ras El Hanout, a little bit of salt and pepper, of course, and some cornstarch, which will help our tofu crisp up beautifully. Heat up some oil over medium heat in a nonstick skillet, and once it's shimmering, go ahead and add your tofu. It should be ready to flip in about 5 to 6 minutes. You'll know it's done when it is gorgeously brown, so then just transfer it to a paper towel lined cutting board to absorb any excess oil. Look how good it looks. Time to assemble everything. I cooked a double batch of rice today, so I'm gonna use half of it today with the cabbage and the tofu, and I'll save the rest for another day. Add some rice directly into our cabbage slaw. This definitely wins the award for prettiest rice dish. Add on the tofu, followed by 2 of the condiments we prepped during our mini meal prep, the spicy mint cilantro sauce and the lemony crunch. This meal did not take me that long. It wasn't very high effort, but thanks to those condiments, it tastes very flavorful. It's very fun. And as you can see, it's very colorful, so it is nutrient dense as well. And if you like the idea of making weeknight dinners like this, my new cookbook is perfect for that, because not only does it have those 50 high impact flavorful condiments and flavor boosters, but it also gives you ideas on how to incorporate those into your everyday cooking and how you can pair them with different vegetables and proteins and grains. So there's lots of inspiration that will make you actually excited to start cooking. Okay, so I only have 10 minutes to make lunch today, and what I'm making is a wrap and a salad. It's super simple, and honestly, I didn't think it was even worth showing you, but then I remembered that the whole point of this video is to show you that even if you only have 30 minutes to do a mini meal prep, it's still gonna make your weekday meals so much more interesting and so much more flavorful. So what I'm starting with is some pre-cooked lentils from Trader Joe's, and they're great for convenience, but the problem is they're kind of bland. So I'm gonna jazz them up by gently frying some garlic in olive oil, adding some chili flakes, and that'll just give them a little more oomph. As soon as the garlic is golden but not browned, take it off the heat, we don't want it to burn, and scoop out the fried garlic and mix it into the lentils. We're gonna make a vinaigrette with the remaining oil. I'm adding some champagne vinegar here, but you can also use red wine vinegar or white wine vinegar, it's up to you. And we'll use this dressing to coat both the lentils as well as a very simple side salad. Today I'm going with baby arugula, just dressing it with our garlic chili oil vinaigrette. Arugula is a little bit peppery, so a touch of agave works really nicely to balance the flavors here. And to give our side salad a little more excitement and some crunchiness, I've got some of that lemony crunch. For the wrap, I'm using whole wheat lavash and spreading on a base layer of that creamy dill caper sauce from meal prep. Pile on some of the lentils with the crispy garlic, sliced avocado for some buttery creaminess, and some sauerkraut for that good gut bacteria. I feel like this could use a little crunch, so I'm gonna get some butter lettuce. And now we roll. Et voila! These don't really fold like a burrito, so I'm gonna toothpick the end so nothing falls out. Oh yeah. I don't even know if it qualifies as a recipe, but it honestly tastes amazing thanks to the creamy dill sauce and the lemony crunch I made a couple days ago during my mini meal prep. And now I'm genuinely excited for my Tuesday lunch. So I'm gonna go enjoy this and I will see you tomorrow. Hi, hello. We're gonna make our third meal of the video. And like our other meals, we're gonna use simple ingredients. Our main ones are cauliflower and beans, but I'm gonna show you how to make them a little fancy thanks to the condiments we prepped earlier. We'll start with the cauliflower because that part takes the longest. Cauliflower is so good when it's roasted, and to make it a little bit quicker, we're gonna break it down into smaller florets. A bit of olive oil, a couple spices just to jazz things up, and some Aleppo pepper, which is a mild chili flake. It's gonna add some nice flavor and just a touch of heat. And of course, my best friend, salt. So get in there with your hands. When it comes to roasting vegetables, parchment paper definitely makes for an easier cleanup, but if you want the best browning, a naked sheet pan is where it's at. I've got a can of cannellini beans that I have drained and rinsed and patted dry, and now it's time to add some flavor. I'm using the spicy mint cilantro sauce from a couple days ago and just letting the beans marinate there until the cauliflower is done roasting. This dish needs a little sweetness because that spicy mint sauce is on the tart side, and medjool dates are the perfect addition to this kind of Mediterranean, Middle Eastern inspired meal. Remove the pits and then just chop them up. Oh yeah, it's looking nice. Cauliflower is looking lovely, beautifully browned, and now I'm just gonna scatter the dates. These are gonna go in the oven for just like 5 minutes. Time to assemble everything. Some reheated brown rice from Monday night's meal, our roasted cauliflower and dates, and our marinated beans. 2 final ingredients, some fresh mint leaves and the lemony crunch. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, yum, 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 yum. This is such a delicious and fun meal, and I think it speaks volumes to the power of having some condiments in your fridge and pantry because they can really transform the most basic ingredients into something gourmet. I'm talking canned beans, rice, and cauliflower that tastes amazing. So I'm gonna go enjoy this and then I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, so for dinner tonight, I'm making a potato salad, sausage, cabbage slaw mixture. I feel like it's a very Eastern European thing, maybe. I don't know. Is that what they eat in Eastern Europe? Yep, I just generalized an entire half of a continent. But anyways, I've already got my potatoes on the stove in some cold water with some salt. These are baby potatoes, so they're gonna cook pretty quickly. In the meantime, I'm gonna make our cabbage slaw using some of that leftover gorgeous red purple cabbage. And I'm gonna slice this as thinly as I can. Cabbage can be a little tough to chew, so what I find helps is to briefly massage it with some acidity and salt. So I've got some lemon juice. After about a minute, you'll notice the cabbage start to soften in your hands. It's gonna make it easier to chew. And a jalapeno, which honestly is like the most beautiful one I've ever seen. Do a little bit of good olive oil. That's got a kick. Woo. The potatoes still need a few more minutes, so in the meantime, I'm gonna cook our sausage, vegan sausage, of course. Ta-da! Just needs a quick sear in the pan to get nice and browned, and then we'll assemble everything. Potatoes are looking nice and tender, so let me go drain them. Sausage is looking good. While the potatoes kind of drain and cool off a bit, I'm just gonna chop up some parsley so we have a little fresh finish for our dish. This was a poor decision. For our potato salad, I was just gonna leave them whole, and then I thought it would be fun to crush the potatoes just a little bit, kind of like a smashed potato, but not roasting it in the oven. Now it's time for our creamy dill caper sauce, which is gonna be like our potato salad sauce. And I've never made this before, so I'm just gonna eyeball the amounts and I'll let you know what I come up with. I'm gonna fold in the sausage, so we're gonna have like a sausage potato salad, pinch of salt. The flavors in this dish are outstanding and I cannot wait to smash it. But before I do, I just wanted to remind you that there are 50 high impact flavor boosters and condiments like the ones we made today in my new cookbook, Big Vegan Flavor. It officially drops on September 3rd, and I would be so honored if you pre-ordered your copy today. There's not just condiments in the cookbook though. It is a massive cookbook. It's got 600 pages, so there are also lots of fun recipes for special occasions, and there's an entire section devoted to fundamental principles and techniques that are designed to help you become a more confident and more creative home cook. Plus, if you pre-order before September 3rd, you will get access to the most amazing pre-order bonus package with lots of goodies. I've left a link in the description box below, or you can scan this QR code to pre-order your copy. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you later. Bye!